right at the beginning, right? Yeah, Juve sucks. Juve, they just like to steal. They have referees in their pockets. Yeah.
I love how he out of nowhere he works that in when this episode. And by the way, hello and welcome in to the Calcio Connection podcast. We are connecting with you, Italian football fans from all over the world. This is our Milan preview episode, our roundtable for the 2021-2022 season. Jerry, though, has just made it his trademark just to sneak in a little bit of Juventus banter when we get started. I don't mind it. I am okay with it. So, as you guys know, I'm an Interista. Jerry is a Laziale, but we've been going around the table for the last couple of weeks and getting previews for top 6, top 10-ish Serie A clubs. We haven't done Jerry and my clubs yet. Lazio is still to come. Inter are still to come, and hopefully the club hasn't been completely liquidated by the time we get our Inter preview episode in. But this one is all about Milan. Before we introduce our panelists, let me introduce my co-host, as always, Jerry Mancini, who, by the way, I love the self-deprecating sense of humor. He's wearing the Caicedo Greater Than Immobile t-shirt, the one that Richard Carmen and the Serie A sit-down provided for us. But, Jerry, how you doing tonight, sir?
Thank you for the shirt, Richard, and Frank as well. You know what? The banter is great. If you haven't seen it, it's Caicedo Greater Than Immobile, and I ain't going to get ripped on hard for this right there, guys, if you haven't seen. But I'm good. This is a Milan pod where it's your rival, but they're not as douchebaggy as the Juventini San Roma. So that's all we can say. He's shaking his hand. Would you rather support a Juventini or an Interisti?
Sampdoria an option? Sampdoria?
Fuck you prick, man.
Okay, let me frame it this way, Richard. Let me frame it this way. You're on a boat, and an Interista and a Juventino each fall off one side. You can only save one. Who do you save?
I hit the accelerator on the boat.
That is the answer of the day. Wow. See, now I feel a little bit spurned because, honestly, if you were to frame that question to me, if it was a Milanista and a Juventino, I would save the Milanista. So I guess the respect is not mutual.
You son of a bitch. I would have saved Alex. You know that?
He didn't say Alex. He didn't say Interista.
I would have let's just say it's Alex on one side and Lucci on the other. I would have let Lucci ride away, man. He can ride into the dust. I don't even care.
You'd let him sink.
Yeah, let him drown. Never mind sink.
Oh my goodness,
that's too good. Well, let me officially introduce our two panelists on this episode. By the way, there may be a couple of more hopping in because Vinny and Steve from Milan Weekly have been invited. They've been in our group chat, so whenever they pop in, we will accommodate. This is informal. This is a roundtable. This is fun. But, of course, a very good friend of ours who's been on with us several times, and Jerry and I have both been on his show a couple times together, a few times separately. Richard Carmen from Serie A Sit Down is with us. Richard, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing? Huh? It's a nice Tuesday night, right? What night? I don't know. It's a preseason for me, so I'm starting to get back into the groove now. Trying to learn how to speak again, So.
Well, the pandemic is not over when we still are in this mode where we have no idea what day it is at any given time, because I don't.
True. I don't, yeah. It's difficult. It's hard to keep track of with everything going on, all the transfers going on. But, I know. I'm happy to be back on the show, and I love it. So I'm excited to talk Milan for a change. I'm so used to talking about all the teams. It's nice to just focus on the team and not worry about anybody else, hopefully.
And let's bring in our good pal who's become a fixture on the show in recent weeks. Gianluca Lombardi is with us. I'm a little bit bummed, though. You changed up the background. Usually I get the nice patio off in the distance. You're in front of a brick wall. I don't know if that's some kind of a metaphor for Milan's upcoming season. There it is. There's the view I crave. Gianluca, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on again. I really appreciate it. I'm excited. Preseason's been looking pretty good, so I'm glad to be on and talk about the preseason and the season review for sure.
We got a lot of stuff to get into. Let me start here, though, guys. And Gianluca, I'll start with you on this one. We'll go around the table. I want Jerry's take as well. I'll drop in my 2 cents. A lot of the top half Serie A clubs, I'm sure some bottom half clubs as well, there's been a lot of turnover in coaches, managers, right? A lot of coaching changes. So you look at, teams projected top 6, top 7. It's really Milan and Atalanta who have the same managers from last season. I mean, Gasperini and Pioli. Outside of that, Juventus, Inter, Lazio, Roma, Napoli, everyone changing coaches. So, I mean, Gianluca, do you look at this continuity as a good thing? And, of course, I have to ask that about Pioli. Pioli has impressed me in his tenure at Milan. I mean, making top 4 last season was so important and so gigantic. Still, though, as an Interista, I get some Pioli flashbacks, and you kind of wonder when, the big precipitous drop is going to happen. It hasn't really happened yet. So how optimistic and how bullish are you on Padre Pioli continuing his tenure at Milan?
I think this year is going to be a great year for him. I think with all the other teams changing coaches, I think most of the teams are going to have to get used to those coaching changes. With Milan, with Pioli there, I think that he has the team. He knows what he needs. He knows exactly what he's missing and how to succeed. But I also think that Ibra also plays a big role in managing the team on the field. As much as Pioli's been doing such a wonderful job, I think there's a lot to do with Ibra in the background. But I'm very optimistic. I do see a top 4 finish for sure. We do still need to pick up a few players, which I believe will happen. I've been reading some stuff. They're saying from August 15th and on, it's going to be fire for Milan. So we'll see with that. Other teams, we see how I think there's only one coach that might be the coach to get a team and get them to win right off the bat, and that was Conte, which I believe that he had the power to do that with the ones that are coaching now, maybe Allegri, but I still see some struggle within the other teams for sure.
It's going to be a really interesting season. And, Richard, I'll ask you the same question. With such a coaching carousel around Serie A, how much do you value the continuity of Pioli, and how much of even a further step forward do you think Pioli's Milan can take?
Yeah, no, the continuity is absolutely important. I think not many managers can come in the first season and do very well. Obviously, the names of Allegri and Conte and like that, yeah, of course they can, but not always. It's not always a sure thing, right? And so having continuity for Milan and also for Atalanta or Gasperini, it's so important for them to get off on a hot start immediately. Because many of these teams, especially if they're new, they're not familiar with the coach, there's an adaptability time, right? There's time where you have to massage themselves into it and then finally get into the groove. We saw that with Sarri with Juventus a couple years ago, right? And so it takes some time, and it's important with those two teams in particular because they need to, if they're going to be true Scudetto contenders, they need to step up from the beginning and make everyone chase you. Milan tried that last year, and Inter, to their credit, kept up with them and then surpassed them. So they need to put that pressure on the other front runners to make them play better, and if they don't, and that's when you see people pulling away. Do I think Pioli's going to get better this season? I hope so, right? The whole thing, the whole shtick with Pioli in his career has been he's a good mid-level manager, but he never gets to the next step, right? Well, we see with Milan, he's actually got a little bit better here. This is the time I really want to see. It's a make or break for me in terms of is this a home where he is comfortable with and can get feel comfortable and take that team to the next level, or is he regress like he has with other clubs, right? It's going to be a telling sign for me how he does this year. I think the team is poised to succeed this year on last year, but it'll be a lot of things to determine as my teammate here, I'm going to say here in the red and black, he says with Ibrahimovic, he pulls the strings behind the scenes a lot, right? And will that be a good effect or a negative effect, right? Last year was a positive effect, I think. This year with Giroud in there, how will that relationship work? Will they bat against each other, or will it be a good thing? Who knows? We'll see. So I think it's a lot of things to weigh here, but I'm excited about the continuity overall. So.
Yeah, like I look back, Jerry, to 2 off seasons ago when there was all that talk about bringing in that lunatic Ralph Ragnick to be, like the manager and the sporting director and to completely revolutionize everything. He wanted to sell everybody, bring in all new players. I really think, and obviously it's impossible to predict how it would have gone, but I really do think Milan dodged a bullet there in keeping Pioli. Like that was right after the first half season or so that he had at Milan, and they kept Pioli around, and that turned out to be a stroke of genius or a stroke of luck, however you want to look at it. But the continuity paid off, right? And then actually qualifying for top 4 this past year. I think Milan, of course, made the right move sticking with Pioli because I do think you need to reward that continuity. And I think Milan do have an opportunity to maybe have a more level-headed start to the season, when, teams like Lazio and Roma and Inter, and I'm not sure if I can group Juventus in there, because bringing Allegri back in may just be like getting back on a bike and riding a bike. I don't know if there's going to be a big learning curve for Allegri, because he knows Juventus and knows so many of those players so well. But I think Milan maybe have an opportunity to have more of a level-headed start when some of the other new managers in Serie A have to find their footing a little bit. So, Jerry, what do you think? Because we've seen, Pioli have what we refer to as the Pioli high, which is usually short and sweet. With Milan, it's been more of a slow burn with Milan. So how bullish, Jerry, are you on Pioli entering his second full season with Milan?
I think it's going to be short term. If it starts rocky, he's out the door, man. They're not going to go a whole season hoping that it turns around. You know what? The first half of the season was great. The second half was really bad and very lucky for Pioli. You saw down the latter part where they just struggled to win games. They didn't have it together. Without Ibrahimovic, this team lacks an identity, in my opinion. When he's not in the lineup, they don't have an option up front. They don't have that clear game plan. It's like they lost themselves.
You don't trust Leao?
No. The guy's too busy thinking he's a rapper, freaking making albums somewhere. He's a good player. You know what he reminds me of? Correa. But Correa is a better player than him, okay?
Yeah.
And the difference is that Correa actually finishes a lot of the time, but he doesn't. Leao just doesn't finish, doesn't do anything with the ball a lot of the time. And then there's, exactly. And then there's the moments where he looks really good. I think the big question is, does he use Giroud more than he should and not overly depend on Zlatan? You're bringing in a guy, and throw this 34 years old, whatever the fuck he is, out the door, okay? It's all bullshit. This guy's a smart player, not a dumb player. He knows how to utilize his body. He knows how to control the game and everything around that. This guy's a winner. You didn't bring a freaking loser to your team. You brought experience, not just playing football in an international level, even Champions League. Like, he has the whole package. He needs to be used properly and more than Zlatan personally, because he has more legs in him. You got to use him, man. That's the guy.
I don't think Jerry's so far off, when he says it's a possibly short-term manager, right? Because Milan's goal this year is going to be top four. If they stray from that top four big time, you're going to see that string pulled right away. Mm-hmm. But if they're still in the mix, I think he'll be in there. That's a big key, because they have to make top four. That's no if, ands, or buts about it. That's absolute. And if they don't get that, you're going to see that string pulled right away, and he'll be gone. Assuming there's a better manager out there, but who knows? We'll see what happens with the season.
Question: he took over the season prior to last year, right?
Yeah.
And last year was his first full season. This is the second full season, you said before, right? So think about this now. He went into last season on the opposite end, where the team was confident in him because of how well he did the year before. He ended the season positive. He had them on their back. Now it's the opposite, where he went to the next season bad, ending the season. He didn't control it right. Like, you saw how bad they played in the second last game of the year against Cagliari, when they could have held their own destiny and not have to worry about the last weekend and know what Napoli had to do and what Juventus had to do. So when his back was against the wall, it wasn't that he saved Milan. Milan were saved, personally, in my opinion. Look what Lazio did with Simone Inzaghi. That's a prime example where they struggled down the latter part, but Lazio shredded them apart. That was their last best game, and Inzaghi showed how much better he is than Pioli. Okay, that was his goodbye present to him with Lazio. So, like, I think the team is very young. They're going to struggle in the Champions League. I think Milan fans have to embrace that.
Are you guys third or fourth pot? Fourth pot, probably. First time back in a long time. Third.
Yeah, I think third.
I think they're
I wasn't
both
sure.
But yeah, again, like, I think they're going to struggle in the Champions League because they didn't strengthen their squad enough for that. but I could be wrong.
I agree with you, Jerry. I think
could
we
be
will
wrong.
struggle in the Champions League, but I think also that's not even that we're just in there just to try to make some money, and
Yeah.
top four is our goal. We did struggle against Cagliari, like you said. We lost a lot of points towards teams that we shouldn't have, but we also had I think five or six injuries. COVID also took a big effect on a lot of our players. So yeah,
Okay, so what's the what's our definition of struggle in Champions League? Because I think it greatly depends on what the group stages look like. Because if we get one of Inter's groups, hell yeah, we're gonna struggle. But if we get a group with only one big giant and then a couple of small teams, I'm not so sure.
You're right.
It's a weird year because the thing is, like, there were some surprising league winners, which are first pots. Like, obviously, not saying I was surprised by Inter winning the league last year, but it's not going to be the same Inter. No more Conte, no more Lukaku, no more Hakimi. So I don't exactly know how far I expect them to go in the Champions League. I think it actually wouldn't surprise me if Inter get out of the group stage this year, unlike the last few years, despite all the changes. But like a lot of like European giants are in like the second pot this year. So there's going to be some crazy groups. Like there are going to be some groups of death where you've got, good teams in the first pot, great teams, historic powerhouses. Like PSG is going to be, I think, a second pot team because they didn't win the league. So good freaking luck. Like I'm actually expecting Inter to end up in a group with PSG. It's going to be my worst fucking nightmare all over again.
And Barca.
League groups. Yeah,
exactly. I'm not basing on who they play. I'm basing on just on the lineup they have strictly, and that's why Gianluca kind of like he kind of understand what I was trying to say is that he sees the same idea where it's just the lineup I'm looking at. I'm not look. That's a great answer, Rich. That's absolutely perfect because like Lazio, look at Lazio. They got lucky last year. We got the group of miracle. That's what I call it basically, and we lucked out. So, but to go back to what you guys are saying, everyone drops points. I hate when this is the biggest line I hate. Oh, we dropped points to like Napoli fans are notorious for this. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to like point them out singly, but a lot of Napoli fans say, "Well, we dropped points to last year to 9 different clubs, and we could have been first." Yeah, thanks.
But if my aunt had a pair of balls, she'd be my uncle.
It's not the drop points that I look at. It's the performance of what happened and how they dropped the points that concerns me more. Everyone drops points, but how did they lose it? And the way Milan lost those points in the latter half was concerning because their performances were dreadful and they didn't look good at all. They just lacked an identity, a philosophy, a formation, all that stuff that had to go around it. And when Pioli's back is against the wall, he doesn't have a plan B. And maybe I'm wrong, but it just looked like he only had one plan. And when Zlatan wasn't in there wasn't another option. Well, credit to though, he never had another striker either, so that didn't help.
Yeah,
as well. So
and that's what I want to ask the guys. Like Gianluca, let me start with you because I totally agree and vibe with what Jerry is saying about feeling like Pioli didn't have a plan B when shit started to hit the fan a little bit late in the year. But how much of that, Gianluca, was on Pioli as a tactician? Or how much of it was just the players Milan had available to them? Because I think sometimes managers will get blamed for a lack of depth. And then also sometimes managers will get overpraised when they have a great squad. So it's a double-edged sword.
I totally agree. I think the problem is the depth, lack of depth. I think that if Pioli had players that were able to, their second string players were able to play like their first, we would have been in a better spot. I have a lot of faith in Pioli. I really do. I like what he does. And we notice that when certain players like Benassier is missing or Ibra's missing or your engine there is missing, then there's a struggle. You have no one there to kind of take that place. Yeah, we had Tonali, but Tonali still has to get used to the system. It takes time. We all know that. And then you said as a second striker, Ibra's out. Who did we have? That was the mistake. We went to get Mandzukic there, but unfortunately, he was injured too, so we had no one there. We were playing Liao as a false 9. That's not his position. I would never put him there again. Rebic is one day he's incredible. The next 10, he's not so hot. He's a strange player, really strange player. So I think it's the depth that we lack. So we'll see what happens this year. We do need to make a few signings, and hopefully not everyone gets injured like last season. We had a lot of injuries. Especially with coming back from COVID, they were playing every 3 days. So these players were taking beatings, and it's not an excuse. Every team is like that, but most teams have better depth in the top 4. That's for sure.
What do you think, Richard? Some of the lack of Plan B, at least that's the way it appeared watching some of these games. More on depth or more on Pioli?
I agree a lot with what was just said. It's a little bit of both. And one thing that irks me the most about Pioli is and maybe he sees something I don't in practice, but not having the faith in the youngsters. I would love to see Hauga get a lot more opportunity last season. He didn't. And we saw some times where, we want to see Tonali a little bit more or Brahim Diaz early on in the season. I mean, Rebic shouldn't start until January because he's not good in the first half of the season anyway, right? But I think it's a little bit of everything, right, with Pioli. I fully support him as well. I think I'm confident in him this year. He brings that continuity that we talked about earlier. And so, having Giroud now is going to be a big plus, right? You're switching one 34-year-old striker for another, but Giroud can score. I mean, it's been proven, year after year. You look at last year with some amazing goals. So they have him, and something that's also important, not having a plan B when Zlatan's out. When Kesse wasn't in there, the team struggled as well. He's that midfield engine that they needed, and when he wasn't there, having Benacer and Tonali and whomever else, Krunic and whatever, it's not good enough. Kesse was that important to the team when he was in the field, and when he wasn't present, the team struggled mightily. So, I mean, they obviously did well at the end of the season, and they got those big wins at the end. But when those two pieces in particular are not there, he didn't have a plan B last year. This year, we need more depth, as Gianluca said. If we get that depth going, I'm confident going into the season. If we don't change things, it'll be interesting. And to answer Cliff's question, I saw his question in there. No matter what, I think Dest is better than Florenzi. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a really good jump-off point into some Mercato stuff.
Who the fuck is Dest?
Serginho Dest, American international at Barca.
Oh,
Jerry's Canadian. He doesn't know about Americans.
Honestly, yeah, that's true. And actually, thank God you do, because, dude, I work with so many American soccer bros that it's like, I hate it when American players sign with Italian clubs, which doesn't happen very often, but Weston McKennie last year.
Venezia this year with Busio?
That's right. Oh, dude, like I know this guy. Actually, he's a friend of ours. I'll rip him a little bit because we love him. He's joined us before on the show, Austin Robillard. You know Austin. So like he loves
his Americans.
He loves his Americans. He's a huge U.S. men's national team guy. I'm just a terrible American because I support the Azzurri, and honestly, I don't really care how far the U.S. men's national team goes. I support the Azzurri pretty much exclusively. So I'm an awful American. It is what it is. But yeah, but my friend Austin, like he's already pumping up Venezia, and I like Venezia mostly because their uniforms are pure class. But dude, if Serginho Dest does end up at Milan, then yeah, you're gonna have some fanboys hopping in. I know Richard knows what I'm talking about on that. But yeah, I wanted to use Cliff's question as a segue into the Mercato, and you already answered that one, Richard. And I'll start with you on this. Your overall vibes on the transfer market, incomings and outgoings. Now, I definitely want your take on Hauga on the way out, loan with obligation, I believe. So his days at Milan are officially done.
It's an option to buy, actually. I was wrong.
An option?
I heard it was obligation. Okay,
Yeah, I think it is an obligation.
I thought, man.
Yeah.
I thought that they were buying him. Like, it's... Okay, I don't know.
He said a goodbye to the club already.
I think it is an
All right,
obligation.
my tweet was right then.
So don't doubt yourself, Jerry. That's the moral of the story. Never doubt yourself.
The Inter doubt me. He's like... Because the tweet said... It was a loan with an option to buy, it said. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I could have sworn they bought him. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I said that, but I left it anyways.
Well, you know what? I think there's a lot of not you, Jerry, but there's a lot of dumb people out there who sometimes will see option, obligation. They won't know which is which, and they'll type it wrong. I'm pretty sure it's an obligation.
I was gonna say, yeah.
And Milan, Richard, they were very active in the early part of the transfer window. A lot of that was redeeming loans and keeping their core, which I do think is important.
Yep.
I did like the Olivier Giroud move. I think that's now, there's obviously a lot of age among Milan's forwards now. The average age is approximately 75 years old. It still is a move that I do like. So. Maybe you could even give me a letter grade. And how are you feeling so far about the mercato, and how many positions still need to be addressed?
Oh man, it's we gotta start from the beginning, right? Losing Donnarumma on a free. I thought that was the right move. I hated losing him on a free, but it was the right move. Just you losing that cancer of Raiola, I think was important. A positive losing Çalhanoğlu. Sorry, Alex. Regards on that.
Thanks a lot. You guys couldn't renew that bum?
Yeah, he joins your team and everybody else, all your stars leave, right? That's how it works. That's how it worked with us, right? So, that started off with it. We got Tomori, which is excellent, I thought. Now we got Pobega back. There's been some good moves here. The last move you just talked about, Hauga. I'm upset to see him go. I know this is a hot iron topic with Milan fans, right? It's some hate him, some love him. I wanted to see him get another shot because I hate buying guys and giving up in the first season. I want to see him at least go another season, right? Tonali, I think, will have a big improvement this year. And I thought Hauga could have had the opportunity had he been given more time and maybe gotten some chance this year. But overall, I think I'm gonna give it a B- as of right now, because it could add some more players and maybe get rid of some other players. There's still some pieces left there, right? Right wing, we still have it unaddressed right now. We right wing, maybe some more depth at right back potentially. Left back we addressed this year with Bacca, which is good. Could potentially be the starter if Teo gets bought by PSG like they buy everybody else, right? But the midfield needs some little bit of help there, and then the right wing I think in particular, and then maybe right back. So a B- for now, and then depending on what the players they bring in here or not, could change my answer later on. But yeah, it's a decent season so far. They got rid of some dead weight and added a little bit of depth. They need more though. They still need more help, and Giroud is a fantastic pickup in my opinion.
What do you think, Gianluca?
I agree. I totally agree with everything. With Hauge leaving, it is sad to see that he's going, because the games that he did play, he scored some crucial goals. The thing with Hauge was we need to buy players for now. We need to secure that top four, so we can't risk on a left winger. Because there's so many that you can buy in the future. It's not a position that is, like a defender, like a center back that one comes every 10 years. So seeing him go, it does kind of suck, but I think it was a smart move. We bought him for 5. We might sell him for 12 mil if it's option. Option. The grade card, I think B- C, I would agree with that, but I think if we don't address the right wing, we don't address an attacking mid, we're not making top 4. Those are priorities right there. I don't think we're missing one, those 2 spots right there. We need some more creativity. We can't get the ball from the midfield to the forwards. We struggle with that. I think if we address those positions, I think we make top 4. I also believe that we could be Scudetto contenders this year, just because the consistency with Pioli, with a few more players that we pick up, and I think we're there. But if we're not, then it will be a failed mercado for sure.
I want to give the floor to Jerry for the next question, because Jerry, something that you brought up to us before we went live when we were just chatting pre-show was on Milan's midfield.
Hold on, Simi went to Salernitana. Hasn't anybody put this 2 and 2 together? Yeah,
I didn't even realize that.
Credit to David on his comments. I just read it right now. Sorry,
Has Lotito sold them yet?
So hold on. Let's get. I know this is a Milan podcast today, guys. So but I need some input here. If Salernitana gets demoted next year, Does that mean that Simi will go to Lazio then?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that'd be breaking like 100 UEFA rules, but do those rules even exist anymore? Like, can they
No.
just say, "Hey,
No.
look what PSG is doing"? Are there any rules left?
Motherfucker, he's got it all planned out, man. He's gonna get fucking sent to Lazio next year when they get relegated.
Yeah, they're paying Crotone 6 million euros.
6
for him.
million?
That
I don't know
seems like a bargain. I mean, Jesus.
20-goal scorer.
Need a striker, guys?
Yeah,
Because
right.
Inter should be buying. I thought Inter wanted this guy like
But here's
desperately.
the thing is, like, if a team like Inter or Milan, etc., were to ask for Simi, the price would be 16 million, right? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
it's like dynamic pricing when you're getting an Uber. You get an Uber on New Year's Eve, it's $150 to go 8 miles. You get an Uber on a random Tuesday night, it's like $13 to go the same route, right?
Yeah,
They're gonna charge different clubs different prices.
I also see that David said that why didn't Milan go for someone like Simi? If you noticed the strikers that Milan goes for, Ibra, big body up front, right? Technical. Giroud, same thing. The next in line will be
Haaland.
I wouldn't spend all that money for him personally. That's fucking
Vlahovic, if I pronounce that right. But his price tag's too high. Or Gianluca Scamacca, who has that same type of striker physique. That's just only my opinion.
You think Belotti could play that role? I mean, he's strong enough where he could play that. Not necessarily have the body frame for it, but he's also very versatile. But I think he could play that position a little bit, not as well as those guys.
I agree. I think he can. Once again, I'll say it, I'm not a huge Belotti fan. He disappointed me in the Euros. There's just something about him. He goes down a bit too much. But yeah, I think he can play that role for sure.
He's to play in a bigger team though in Serie A. Fucking Torino's a bag of shit. Who the fuck's good on that team? Seriously, it's a bag of shit team. Sasha Lukic, guys. Napoli's like licking their lips right now. We sold this guy for 25 million, and they've been shit at Torino. Like Armando Izzo, I want 20 million for a bag of shit. Get the fuck out of here. Guy was supposed to be on the Italian squad. And, meanwhile, during the Euros, he's planting tulips with his daughter, if he has one, or whatever the heck it was, man. Like, come on, Zaza, the guy.
Oh my God, what a disgrace!
The guy played for Italy, God's sake, man. Wow, the guy. You know what? He performs so well in training because he can show off those little high heel freaking bicycle kicks or whatever. But when it comes to the real game, the guy's another flop artist. The whole team are all around this. So they got the one guy, the fullback they have, or I call him a wing back more actually, but Singu. That's like the only promising player.
Yeah.
Really, but like Belotti on Milan, massive upgrade. I think that it would push him to do better. It would get him to be more competitive. It would get him to another level like Immobile, where he needs to be playing on a better team around better players to get him ready for the Euros. I know that Immobile, and I know Cliff is going to rip on me that he didn't perform, but you know what? He worked hard. He did the little things that people don't notice, but like at the end of the day, I think that if he goes to a team like Milan, not Roma will fucking kill him. Roma kills people. They don't save people. Let's just get this straight down.
Are you talking like physically with all the ACLs, or are you talking mentally?
No, that's a good. You know what?
Thank you for quoting that. Their training ground is cursed because every decent player they bring in is injured all the time.
That I agree. I don't agree with that comment. Lazio are not really trying to become rivals with Inter. I don't think Latito hates Inter. He doesn't despise him. That's a vendetta versus Simone Inzaghi, and only Simone Inzaghi.
Bingo.
He's not resenting what the ownership did at Inter. He knows it's a business and that they're going to come and strike. At the end of the day, he knows that Inzaghi is his own person. He is not 20 years old who needs his mother to make his decision. He is a 40-plus-year-old man who has grown up and can make the right decision. If he gave him his word, at the end of the day, he's not going to blame Inter for stealing him and poaching him. Right. He isn't going to be mad at Simone Inzaghi because he's going to say, you gave me your word. You betrayed me. At the end of the day now, Inter never betrayed Lazio. I hate when people say that. I'm not saying this because Alex is my co-host and I talk nice about Inter. I want people to understand this is not hating Inter. Now, I do agree that you're gonna bargain up and you're gonna ask for more now because of what Inzaghi did. I get that part, but it's not like Latito's doing it on purpose against Inzaghi. He's gonna do it because of what happened of the matter. It's just it's a vendetta, and that's it. Like it's there's nothing hate towards or spite towards Inter. I think that Latito has a good working relationship with Inter because he's done a lot of business with them in past seasons. He's never gone on the record and saying that I hate Inter. I'm not going to do business. You want to hear off the record, he hates Juve. He fucking despises Juve, okay? He's already said it multiple times because of a deal that broke down where he got screwed over. Something happened. He can't do business with them. That if you want to hear where Latito is a rival with, it's Roma because Roma and Lazio don't do business. I don't remember the last time they did a deal together. It's like Toronto and Montreal in hockey doing a deal. It's never, I never see it happen. And it's just the nature of the business, guys. Like, I hate when people say that Inter hates Lazio now. Lazio hate Inter. The fans love each other, well, for the most part. The ownership don't hate each other. It's just stupid garbage banter that you can't really back up.
Well, and the crazy thing is, like, even in recent years, you've seen, and all of these owners do have to work together because, they've got a league to run. So, even if some of them hate each other, they still have to be cordial enough to work together. I've even seen in recent years, Inter and Juve kind of working together, on this Super League stuff. And, fans don't realize that even if there are rivalries and there are pettiness and there are vendettas, I like that word that Jerry used, that at the end of the day, these gentlemen all do have to work together. So they have
Torino's
to be
another
cordial
team.
enough.
Latito, there you go. You want a rival? Torino.
That's
there you
call.
go. That's a rival. That's where Latito will freaking put Immobile for $250 million if they wanted to buy him.
Yeah.
But we're shifting off here because that's my ADD kicking in. But
well, Jerry, I wanted to throw to you to get into the Milan midfield because you have a pretty strong opinion about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Benacer. If he gets hurt, are they in trouble? That's the concern for me now because I think Pet the Hog is a gem. This guy, what did you guys sell him for, guys? How much did he go for?
12 mil.
Yeah.
12 mil.
Yeah.
Wow.
We bought him for 5.
Holy fuck, man! That's like that reminds me of like buying Savage for 18 million or Immobile for 9. That's where I think you're gonna look back and say, shit, we sold this guy for 12 million, and we could have made 40 million for him. That's where I'm thinking
when
right
Inter
now.
sold Coutinho.
Like a loan deal would have been perfect in the pandemic.
But it's a risk. We need to balance. We need the finances right now, right? So we need that top 4. And I understand what you mean. Like, he can be worth 40 million. Like Andre Silva. Like, okay, we got rid of him, and people were like, "Oh, Milan's crazy. He's going to Real for 60 mil." He ended up going to
Leipzig.
Leipzig for I think 22 million.
It's not bad. That's actually not bad. At the time of how he was playing.
We got Rebic, and I think we paid 4 mil or something like that. Like, I don't know. We can't gamble on players right now. We need top 4 finishes for the next 2-3 years, and then you'll see some serious players come to Milan. But yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. If we already had a foundation and we were ready to continue on, right?
I think Silva's a little bit different though, because he showed the signs of shitness when he was with Milan. Like, he was just utterly shit.
Oh,
Who's Silva?
Under Silva, he's his most goals scored for Eintracht in the season last year.
Yeah, before that, though,
I think he's a good player that was a poor fit for Milan. Like Piontek. Yes. Piontek is obviously not as good as Silva.
Oh, another bust. Oh,
yeah, right. But Silva, I think, was a good player in a bad team. This didn't fit. They never worked well together. I think you're going to see Andre Silva do really well again with Leipzig this year. He's going to get another 25-plus goal season again.
Or maybe the fact that a lot of players just can't crack the Serie A because of how tactically,
that and the big team pressure, playing on a big team in a top league is difficult if you're not used to that kind of pressure. constant media attention on you, scrutinizing you all the time. If you're not used to that kind of have that strong will, you're gonna fold under that. And that's what we probably saw with Hauga and Silva and some of these other guys.
By the way, can somebody hook up Cliff with their skincare tips? Because he wanted to know what sort of cigars and cigarettes Jerry is smoking to get that beautiful complexion. Jerry ignored the man.
Cliff obviously knows I'm the spawn of Lavezzi and who do you say, Giroux, right? So it just comes naturally like this.
I'll tell you what I use. It's this. Fuck, I use this brand, you fucker.
Richard, do you go to bed with like one of those like avocado masks on your face, and then you peel it off in the morning?
Absolutely. This is actually my Instagram filter you got going on here, so it makes me look a little bit better.
Oh my god!
But hold on. Sorry, we were talking about the Tonali. That's another question mark. Do you think he grows this year and he takes that step above, or is he still young and still maturing and needs time to adapt? Because I think that's one thing that Pioli did right last year is that he benched him when he had to. He made the sacrifice of making him learn from the bench, seeing what's going on in the pitch, learning from his mistakes. I'd like to see him take that next step this year. I think that's another concern for me. I know he's a versatile player. You're saying that he can do the jack of all trades, Richard, but I'd like to hear your take because you know better than me. I already said Benacer is an injury concern. You know that Kessié is not going to be playing a lot this year because of it. He's going to be traveling. You got Krunic. Oh my God, Krunic! My God. Oh, that reminds me of like one of our players. But yeah, anyways.
Which one?
Yeah, right.
No comment.
Cliff is distracting me here with his comments. So you're asking me about Tonali, right?
Yeah, like how do you see this working out?
I do think a second year with Milan is going to be an improvement for him. I think he's going to be more comfortable with the team around him. He like we talked so much and so many people talked about that he was a big fish in a little pond before and he moved to the big pond and as a little fish, right? So he got time to experience. He got to work behind Benacer and Kessie are arguably two of the better midfield duos in the league. And so he got to see what it takes to be at that top level consistently. Now he gets the pitch time and show it. He's got the talent in there. We looked at preseason. He's looked good. He's looked pretty decent in some of the games of preseason. Granted, it's preseason. I know. But I do think he'll improve this year. And I think, if Benacer does have the injury questions early on, he'll get that opportunity. And who better to be lined up with than Kessié? Because Kessié can do all the dirty work. He can focus on some of the stuff that he can relax a bit more. Doesn't have to feel the pressure, play defensively as tough as he would if Kessié was out. So I think having Kessié back there will help him tremendously in improving this year. How good? I don't know. Is it? I'll take any improvement at this stage as long as he continues to develop and gets that worth that we thought he was with the $20 million or whatever we paid for him. Because I think
how much if any, just to follow up, like were you disappointed with Tonali last season? Because obviously there was a lot of banter from rival fans, but
no,
Did you look at it more of it's just going to take time? Because I think, what was he, 19 years old when he arrived? He turned 20 last season. So obviously there's a lot of room for growth there.
Yeah, no. Was I disappointed in the season? Did he achieve what I thought he could? No. Was I disappointed? No, because I knew it was going to be a struggle with him, and I never thought he would be in the starting lineup immediately. As much as all us Milanisti would love to see that, the people who are most realistic would know that's not going to happen more than likely, especially with Çalhanoğlu was in the lineup. You know that he was going to be a favorite to start, and so he had poor games, absolutely, but he had some games where he was okay. He wasn't lighting the world on fire, but for the most part he was just okay. And so this year, if he can improve upon that, I think having that year under his belt now at Milan, I think will do a world of good. And if he can get more opportunities on free kick, where that's his bread and butter, maybe that gets him more comfortable, right? And he'll really start to open it up. And maybe he gets in that trequartista role now that Çalhanoğlu's gone. When Brahim isn't performing, maybe he gets that opportunity. And maybe he's the opposite of Pirlo. Well, Pirlo started from the front and moved back. He goes the opposite way. Who knows?
Anything you want to add, Gianluca? Because I know that that you were talking about Andre Silva and stuff as well. Anything you want to add on the midfield and Tonali?
So with Tonali, yeah, absolutely. I think he is developing. He is getting used to the position he's playing. Like Akbar said, he was improving in preseason. Like Richard also said, it is preseason, but he was also teamed up with Krunic there, and Krunic was like a missing man against Real, and Tonali was all over the field. He was cleaning up like crazy back there. So I saw some great improvements there. I think he will improve. February we have Kessie and Benessier both gone for the month of February because of the African Cup of Nations, I think it is, right?
Yeah, AFCON.
AFCON. So they're both gone, and so that's why they're deciding if they should keep Pobega instead of loaning him out, and then pair him up with Tonali, which Pobega in the pivot isn't the strongest. I've watched him since he's been playing on loan in Pordenone, Pobega that is, played fantastic. I just think he needs more playing time. Once he gets that, he'll get comfortable and he'll do very well. I actually think that he will be a better player than Lucatelli. I know a lot of people love Lucatelli. I just think that Pobega has the size, and I see his the way he plays. He feels he's a lot stronger in that midfield. People will disagree, and we'll see what happens. But I really like Pobega, and Tonali will improve this season for sure.
By the way, I'd like to give you guys a chance on what you heard here on David's
Hold
question.
on. Who's Lucatelli?
Locatelli.
Oh, Locatelli. Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, I said.
I was like, who is Lucatelli? I was like,
Yeah.
is this the new Nutella?
It sounds like
I was like, I may not be looking at the screen, but I'm listening. Don't worry, man. I hear this shit.
He's like Lucatelli. Wait, is Florenzi coming? What's the latest on that? I've seen some links today.
Richard.
Oh yeah, I've heard rumors back and forth. I'm one of those people that I don't believe it until I see them holding up a jersey, right? So I mean, if he comes, it is what it is.
Locatelli to Milan?
No. Florenzi for PSG. Everyone's enamored with Florenzi. I mean, I kind of agree with Akbar. I think it was Akbar who said like, Florenzi really hasn't done anything. He never achieved the status that we hoped he would. Yes, he's a great Romanisti. He did really well at PSG. He had a resurgence there. But I mean, you play with that squad. Who isn't, right? I probably might play a little bit better
In that Farmers League. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know, right?
Messi's gonna look good there.
Yeah, exactly, right? I think Kalulu, I agree with him. Kalulu is someone who I have high hopes on. He plays well at right back and at center back, and he can fill in as a depth player there. I personally would like to see a Dest over Florenzi if I had the choice, but Florenzi I'm okay with ultimately if it happens, if he is the backup. If he's for some reason comes in and is supposed to take over Calabria's role, hell no. Calabria was fantastic last year. Who knows what's going to happen with Conte this year. And then, if Florenzi comes in to start, if he comes in knowing that he's the backup and that's it, give some breather to Calabria every now and then that's okay. That's fine. I'm fine as a depth player. I agree that Kalulu, is a better player, can be ultimately a better player, and I want to see him improve more. He's done well. He did well last year in his brief appearances. He looked good in preseason so far, and I think he has the potential of being a solid player. So bringing in Florenzi would stunt that absolutely, and so I wouldn't want to see that. But if it happens, I'm okay with it as a backup.
So the next thing I want to go around the table on, and even though Jerry and I have already answered this 100 times, I don't know, things tend to change and evolve, especially with what's going on in Inter. So maybe we even have different answers as to the last episode. But Gianluca, I'll start with you. If you have a prediction on, at the very least, top 4, feel free to go top 6 on how the Serie A season is going to finish. And whatever scenario you want to come up with for Inter, you may choose to assume that the fire sale is over. You may choose to assume, if you'd like to, that that Lautaro and a bunch of other people. Just on the record, I don't think Lautaro is going to be sold. Now, I've been wrong before. I've been wrong in the last couple of weeks on players being sold, but I don't expect Lautaro to go. So I don't know how that would influence your top 4 answer. Maybe Inter weren't in your top 4 to begin with, but what do you think, Gianluca? Top 4 and even top 6, if you'd like.
So I think 1-2 will be a battle between Milan and Juve. 3-4 would be Atalanta and Lazio. I have really high hopes with Lazio with Sarri. For some reason, I have this feeling he's going to do well. I see Napoli there. If Inter sells Martinez, they're going to be down to fifth or fourth. Yeah, I think Inter needs to hold on to him as much as they could. Otherwise, it's going to be a struggle. But yeah, that's my prediction there.
What do you think, Richard?
Yeah, this is tough with all the new managers this year, right? It makes everything very, very intriguing. Off the bat, I think the Scudetto contenders, in my opinion, are the two big clubs in Lombardia. I'm talking obviously Milan and Atalanta, and then Juventus with Allegri.
I'm in the mud.
And then Juventus with Allegri. I mean, you can't discount Allegri. He's going to come back, and they're going to almost maybe not be as good as they were before, but they're going to be much better than they were last year, I think. So you can't discount them. Inter, it's let's see how the rest of the off season pans out, because I think based on the way the trend is going right now, they're will they make 4? I don't know. Based on currently, you hate to discount the reigning champions, but when you lose such amount of players as they're doing at the moment, it doesn't look good. You got a new manager as well. Oh, by the way, right? And they probably could lose more players. So is it Lazio with Sarri is going to do really well and jump in the top 4, or is it going to be Spalletti at Napoli? I think Mourinho. He's a great story, and I think he'll make Roma a lot better. But I just think they're just out of that. For me, between Sarri and Spalletti, well, I think they're both excellent managers. Who do I think jumps in immediately and makes a bigger effect? I think it's Spalletti and Napoli. I think Osimhen's going to have a big season this year in terms of Capocannoniere implications. I think Sarri ultimately will be great for Lazio. I think that it seems to me, and I could be wrong, that his first seasons with his new clubs, other than Chelsea, it tends to be a slow start. Obviously, he had Juventus. He already had a big team there, but in his previous clubs before that, the first year has just been like developing that team, and then the second year they really hit Sarri ball. So I think it'll be taking a little while for Lazio, but I think it's Lazio or Napoli in that fourth, fifth spot, and then Inter behind them. Now Inter could go ahead and sign some big player that we don't know about and change things, and Roma could obviously be in the mix. No, it's not him. No, it's not him or Neymar or any of those good guys.
Maybe Mbappe. Jerry, for like 300 million that we'll have to borrow. Jerry, what about you? I'll give you another opportunity to go on record. Who do you see top 4, top 6, if you like?
You son of a bitches. You ever fucking talk about PSG again on this podcast, I will ban you all. I will disown you all.
My bad.
I hate that team with a passion. I can't believe I even cheered for them 3 years ago. Bought their apparel, which I have to say, their apparel is so nice. I'm sorry. My wife bought me a winter break like jacket PSG for Christmas, smoking hot, but like I can't wear it anymore because and I know it's not Messi. It's not. You can't really blame Messi. That's the only team who can pay him. I just hate how they're able to pay all these people.
Oil money, bro.
Like ludicrous. I hate it. I can't cheer for them. I am not a Messi FC where I jump on the bandwagon and jump from Barcelona to PSG.
Hold on. Can we make a pact here? The 4 of us and everybody watching, whether you're watching live, you watch back later, you listen back later. If we can get like a few million of us to all agree to buy electric cars or just to stop driving, we can put the fucking oil money out of business. How about that?
There you go. There you go.
What's your oil going to be worth?
Teslas for everyone.
If we're all walking and we're taking various electric vehicles and we're not driving and buying your stupid oil anymore, I want PSG to be bankrupt. We need to boycott big oil. Get these fuckers out of the international scene. I hope they've bought stock in Tesla if they want to keep running the club the way they run it. I am boycotting oil. That's it.
I can't even believe that Pogba is even in discussion, that they need to sell one big player, like 10 players on loan. Like, how can there even be a discussion about bringing Pogba in? Talk about super teams. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get so pissed off. You guys brought up PSG, and I lost my mind there because I've been shit-talking them all day. But who do I think top 4? I think top 7 is going to be wide open. Let's say that. I think all 7 teams are going to be competing for top 4 this year because there's so many question marks surrounding every team. Inter status of selling their 2 best players. Juventus, we don't know if Allegri, what he'll bring back after being off a year, not getting that midfield yet. Locatelli. Well, guess what? Locatelli's shit is coming to Juventus, and that's a little concerning because everybody rips on on Inter because they can't buy players there right now. They have to sell players. Well, isn't it a little concerning that Juventus, who also got cash injection, apparently got this 400 million, still can't buy players? Doesn't anybody raise questions about that?
I do.
Like, come on, man. Like, I hate how Inter gets bashed on, but Juventus, no one bashes on them, and they're asking for these pity. Oh, we'll pay you $5 million up front, and then next year we'll give you the next $5 million, and in year 3 we'll buy him out. No, I like how Sassuolo is saying, "Screw you. We're not Fiorentina. We're not desperate for money. You want our best player? Pay now, or else F off." Because that's how it's got to be. You got to let these big clubs know that we're not going to get walked all over because we're the median club. Like that. That's the way it goes. Roma, Jose Mourinho, who knows what's going to happen with I'll be honest. I'll be nice with Roma because there's a lot of question marks. Dzeko might be going to Inter.
What are you nice with? No, he is coming to Inter.
It's
basically done.
Okay, that's done. So Abraham doesn't want to go to Roma. He's not stupid. He knows how bad they are. So, and I love the fact that Mourinho couldn't convince him to go to Roma. That's amazing because the great one ain't great anymore, or the special one, wherever you want to call
Special
him.
one, yeah.
Yeah, special. I gave something special, but anyways, that they don't have a striker now. Like you got Shomorodov, but and you got the other guy, but it's not like amazing. There's a question marks there. You're number 9 now, even a bigger question mark now. Like, and then you go to Napoli. I think Napoli is really in a good condition here. Like they got Spalletti, and he goes into a team that has the right form, who understands the formation, got the players already that will adapt to him. But does he start mutiny in the change room? Does he start having problems with the players? Because we know he sucks with players' relationships.
He's
we
a weirdo,
know this,
man. Yeah, he's always looking whether it's a Totti or an Icardi. And it's not to say I completely blame him for the Icardi thing because Wanda was a big part of that. But Spalletti always finds a way to make these things worse. So who's it going to be with Roma?
Like, and then you go to Lazio, and I'll be honest, I actually was excited, thinking that they're going to go right off the bat. But then I kind of seen all their preseason games. It's been a high and low, and I think that's how their season's going to be. It's either going to be looking good at times, or it might be looking mediocre at times. And then it's going to look really bad at times because sorry ball doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. I'm noticing you need to know how to make those short passes. And it's 11 guys that need to be on the same page. They're not done with their transfer market. We don't know if Correa is staying or not. I think he's going to Inter. I don't think Zapata is going to be sold.
Yeah, I think Correa more likely, but not if Lotito if he stands firm on a 37 million euro asking price, it's not going to happen. If he budges from that, yeah, but I can tell you,
I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen.
Right, it 37 can't be that million. Price. You see, I don't think so.
I think so.
Because they're about to pay almost 20 million for Dumfries, which I do think is going to happen. I think they're going to pay for Dumfries.
That means Perisic is going. Perisic or Brozovic is going to be sold. I saw that today.
And you guys got Dzeko too, Alex, right?
Yeah,
$2 million.
Yeah.
That doesn't count. That's pocket change.
Yeah, Dzeko is coming in. Actually, an option.
Dzeko for $2 million, man. That's a steal. Fuck.
Well, I mean, listen. If assuming Lautaro isn't sold, Dzeko wouldn't even necessarily be a starter, which is good because I like him coming off the bench. I don't like him as a regular guy. But yeah, no. Before we close it out, I'll
wasn't done, man. What the heck, man?
Sorry. You gave me like 20 teams. You give me a top 20.
I'm not done. I gotta rip on people too, but with reasonable background. Think about this now. Dzeko, $2 million. Okay, you sold Lukaku for $115 million. Can you imagine if Dzeko scores the same amount of goals as Lukaku?
I can't imagine it because it's not going to happen.
Why? Why not? Why? He's going into a new system.
What did he
Okay,
score? 7 goals last year, Jekyll?
Lukaku is a beast. I mean,
He
he
is,
was
man,
a
I get
hustle.
that.
I mean,
but you're playing in the EPL too.
Jekyll's not scoring more than 10 goals.
I want to see how Lukaku does now back in the EPL, where he was good with Everton, but like I want to see like does he shut his critics up and comes back to Chelsea, plays on a big team, and delivers, or does he struggle in a new formation where he's not going to be playing in the 3-5-2? Like we don't know that, right? I'm just saying if it's similar goal production, Inter sold them for 115, didn't really. Man, the Ferrari got replaced maybe with a Benz. I don't know. Hey man, like my top four, I gotta give you. I'm a mush, so I'm gonna go with Juventus first. I'll go with Inter second. I think everyone's writing off Inter too quickly because no one understands the Simone Inzaghi factor and the fact that he still has a better team compared to what he had at Lazio.
Yeah.
Even with the depth, it's still much better. People don't credit this guy enough. I'll go Napoli, probably third. Fourth, I will say, just for the sake of just saying it, I'll say Lazio, but I'm on the fence. And Atalanta's another team too, guys, who will be up there competing.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see how they do. I think they're going to struggle this year. I think they might take a little step back. Maybe losing Romero is a big loss in that back end because he kept it together, and Demiral is not going to keep it together. I'll tell you that much. I think he's overrated, but and yeah, guys, I think that you guys, everyone's writing off Inter. I'm hearing spaces and podcasts. Inter's going to finish fifth. They're going to finish sixth.
I've heard people say worse than that.
What is wrong with you guys? Like this, I understand they lost their two best players, but they still have a good squad. It's not like they're not going to bring players back in to replace them. A guy like Jekyll still keeps them in the top 4 spot. A guy like Correa, who comes over, say, keeps him there at a top 3 spot. There are players who are going to come in to replace.
I'm high on Dumfries. I like him.
Like the back end hasn't been touched. The back end's key, man. I know it's as pivotal as Lukaku and Hakimi is. The back end's just as important, and maybe even more important, because that is the Achilles. That is what kept Inter together last year. Is that back line was hard to break down. Probably one of the best defenses in Serie A. All right, I am done now, guys.
All right, so I think my top 4 basically changes with every episode, and I know a lot of people have been pointing out that Juventus haven't really given so many great things to watch in preseason. I still, with the Max Allegri factor, I still favor Juventus to win the Scudetto, and it's just I know how well managed they're going to be and how efficient Max is at just grinding out those points when other teams will falter and drop points throughout the season. Allegri squads just don't do that. So I am going to lean to Juventus to win the Scudetto. In second place, I'm going to give it to the black and blue, Atalanta. I've got Atalanta coming in second. But, and how about this? You can say I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, and my answer can change depending on who comes in and who might be sold over the next couple of weeks. But as things stand, knowing that, Dzeko is definitely coming, I think Dumfries is coming to play right wing back. He's no Hakimi, but that's a really nice replacement. I think Inter could have done a lot worse if that does end up being the guy. There's still a possibility on Nahita Nandez. It's a whole mess with Cagliari right now, but I do think that if Raja does end up signing with Cagliari, that I think that is kind of what Giulini is waiting for to release Nandez. So we'll see how that goes. And then, Correa is a possibility. Moise Kean might even be a possibility late in the window on loan because Dumfries is a Raiola guy. And so Raiola might also, nudge Moise Kean in Inter's direction. So there's some moving parts here. So the way things stand right now, I'm certainly not saying Scudetto, but I am saying top 4. I'm going to have Inter in third. Now, if Lautaro Martinez gets sold tomorrow, I will have them out of top 4. But that's my answer today. I've got Inter third. I'm going to go Milan fourth. And there's a couple teams I like that I'm leaving out. I don't know, and I know that the Napoli supporters are going to get on me, but just something about Napoli's recent history. I'm still upset the way that they gave Juventus a free pass back into Champions League last year, and I don't know. Spalletti is just such a lunatic. I'm going to have Napoli 5th. I'm going to have Lazio 6th, and I'm going to have I guess I'm going to have Roma 7th, but kind of a distant 7th. I don't think they're really going to be. I think Lazio even just one spot above are going to be a step above Roma next year. So that's the way that I see it.
So if Roma finishes 7th, they're going to be the first 2-time Conference League team.
By the way, if a team wins Conference League, does that get them like an automatic Europa League bid? The way that
bonsai tree.
Well, that's good because didn't the bonsai tree they had didn't it get vandalized? So they need a new one.
That was Skamaka's dad too.
They needed a new bonsai tree.
I like Skamaka's dad. I think Skamaka should be my favorite player. Oh God.
Man. I had a great time with everybody. Let me give our guests and Jerry and myself a chance to plug anything we're working on. Richard, what about you, man? Where can people find you? Where can people find all the good stuff that you and Frank Crivello, who we also love, are doing with the Serie A Sit Down?
Do we? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I actually met Frank this summer, huh? Look at that. You can follow me at there you go, at Serie A Sit Down, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere and anywhere. We also go obviously on YouTube as well. We're back up on the podcast this upcoming weekend after a long, relaxing vacation we had this summer. You can follow me if you want at R_KHARMAN and follow Frank at FTC_21.
Good stuff. What about you, Gianluca? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at glombardi85. Talk mostly about Milan, but today I posted the PSG versus Real Madrid of 2003. I didn't include the Milan great into that tweet, only because obviously they're better than both teams. But yeah, you can find me at glombardi85.
Good stuff, man. Jerry, what about you? You've been writing lately. I know you've been on a tear on Twitter, and don't think I'm not keeping score of all of these inter jokes you're writing in. I'm so nice about Lazio, Jerry, but I'm keeping score. The next time Cheeto fucks up, or the next time Lazio drop points against a crappy team, I am going all out, bro. So watch out.
So I'm used to it. Don't worry. We drop points every year. Who gives a shit? We're a bottom feeder. That's what we are.
You're not a bottom feeder. Come on.
Bottom feeder for the Europa League. That's what we are. I see these stats that we hold the most games played in Europa League. Oh, God. I don't know if that's a good stat or a bad stat. Something like that.
It's not something you want to flex, I don't think.
You can find me at Moo will not last the whole season. How's that? I'm answering the guy's question.
I like it.
But I'm at J Mancini 8, and I had a guy who asked me today to write a piece about Korea, and I'm going to be trying to find some time this week to write about what Inter fans can expect if Korea joins Inter, because it seems a lot of Inter fans are interested, and I'm the only Lazio fan they interact with, it seems like, which I'm pretty grateful for. It means a lot, but so I plan to do that for them. I would rather, on the side note, I know we're signing off, I would rather have Correa than Zapata.
Me too. I agree.
I don't give a shit that he is not the Lukaku similar type player. Get that shit out of your head.
How old is Correa, Jerry?
26.
Yeah,
I think he's 27.
I mean,
he's young.
Right there. Zapata is 30, going on 31. It's not a good investment. Like there's no resale value in a couple of years. Like it's not for a team that's struggling financially, that's not a good investment.
And I think his scoring touch has really dipped off now. Like he's no longer that goal threat player that he once was. Like I think he still has the goals, at least the 15 goals in him, but I don't know. I think he's kind of changed his style of play, but I just, not because I'm Lazio and I obviously want Lazio to sell him. I don't know why some people want to keep him. If a player says, I want to go, you sell him. You don't hold him back. Don't I don't like when I hear sorry. I'm gonna try to convince him. What the hell's wrong with you? Like, it's like if your wife wants to leave you, and she says she doesn't want to leave you after 10 times, you try working out with her, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing in this in the first place? I don't love you anymore. I'm going, man.
It's like Lukaku.
Yeah.
Too soon?
Wow, man.
Well, listen, man.
That's not on Lukaku. I hate when people...
No, the thing about it, like, and this could be a whole show. He was nudged, bro.
Yes,
and it's
yes.
like I am a lot more angry with Suning than I am at Lukaku. I think most Inter fans feel this way. There are a few that are like, oh, screw this guy. Where's the loyalty? But dude, he was clearly nudged out by ownership. They could have put the kibosh on the transfer talks, and they were always like, no, we're not selling him. He's untouchable. But make another offer. We'll talk again. It's like, dude, they could have put the kibosh on it right away. They kept entertaining more offers. It is what it is.
It's not Korea's. I mean, it's not Lukaku's fault, man. I hate when people are saying that he chose the money. He chose the money. His team chose the money. He refused twice.
He's no better than Messi.
I don't blame Messi either, to be honest.
I was talking to Joe from Forza Napoli. I had a tweet ready to go because there was a player on Boca Junior back in 2011 who played for free for a year because of their financial situation. I forgot what his name was.
Wow. He should fire his manager.
No, he did it because he wanted to go back to the team. I forgot what his name was. I would have to look it up again. But Joe's like, stop. He's like, you can't say that because even if Messi was going to play for free with Barcelona, they couldn't register him anyways.
Barca's finances are shit.
Yeah. So he's like, it's irrelevant. You
Inter.
have to like abort. But I just don't blame. I don't blame. Oh my god, I don't blame Lukaku, man. It's nothing to do with him. Like he was backed in a corner and he said, you know what, I'm out of here. If we sold Correa, I guess Brandt, but I would. If we sell Correa, we can finally sign Filip Kostic. We'll have Toma Basic, and I would rather want Shaqiri to come in. I think a lot of people don't understand. If you can get Shaqiri for $10 million to $12 million, you do it.
Will she bring PK? Oh, not Shakira. You're talking about Shaqiri.
Shaqiri, I'm just saying that's Latito business. You go after a good player who still has a lot of upside for $12 million when his value could really be $20, $30 million. And those are all Lazio deals, man. We don't go buy a player for $40 million. Like the Vedat Marici signing will not happen for another 5 more years, probably from Latito. So, anyways, guys, don't blame Lukaku. Blame Inter and their stupid fucking owner.
Here. All right, guys. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you guys are. I was trying to
make sure you're following Gianluca Lombardi, J Lombardi 85. Make sure you're
G Lombardi 85.
G. Why the heck did I say J, man? Okay, you spoke English, freaking. And my buddy here from Syria, sit down at R_Carmen, and my boy here at Alex Donno Interisti. Don't worry, I can mush him. So, guys, you know what to do. Add these guys and just do what you gotta do.
Forza Sunin.
Yeah, Forza Sunin. Hey, it's coming home, guys. It's been over a month.
It's coming Rome.
It's been a month. My Fangulo, England.
Good stuff, guys. We'll talk to you again next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. Ciao.
Awesome.